knuckles, rack and pinion, see the movement, see these movements of these tires. In case of rack and pinion type, uses the track rods to the coupling to the rack, couple the rack to the steering knuckles. So, see again see these movement of these tires in case of rack and pinion type. This is rack and pinion arrangement. So, these are the track rods. These are the track rods. This is the here see the movement of the if it is moving in the anti-clockwise direction, clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction, clockwise direction. See the movement of track rods and the front wheels. So, these are the basic steering systems which are used. So, rack and pinion type steering system, rack and pinion steering is more precise and compact. This is more precise and compact. See the various parts of this rack and pinion type of the system. So, this is the various parts I have shown you: supplying, link, gearbox, then tie rods, and this here at this is the connection. This part on these two parts, the braking system and wheels are attached to these two parts, and this is the suspension system of the automobile. So, it uses less component parts. This is the steering column, steering rack. This is known as boot. These are known as ball joints. These are two track rods. These are the steering knuckles, and this is the steering column. So, there is less number of component parts are there in case of rack and pinion type steering systems. It is the most commonly used on the modern vehicles. All the modern vehicles use rack and pinion type steering systems. This is the principle of rack and pinion steering system. So, pinion gear is turned by the steering shaft. This is a pinion gear is turned. Pinion meshes with the rack. This is a rack. The movement of the rack is controlled by this pinion. If this pinion moves in this clockwise direction, the steering will be towards the left hand side. If it is moving in anti-clockwise direction, the steering the vehicle will be steered in the right hand direction. So, there is one thrust spring that holds the rack against pinion to prevent the backlash. So, this holds the pinion to have a close contact with the rack. So, this is known as a thrust spring. Pinion shaft is normally shimmed to minimize end float up or down movement, so also reducing the backlash. So, this is a rack and pinion. So, sometimes these ball joints, this is the ball joints used. So, ball joints are commonly used on most steering systems and provide a controllable link to the other steering components. Ball joints allow linkage components to swivel freely. This is the inner track rod, this is the adjusting lock nut, this is the track rod end, this is the adjusting thread, this is the ball socket. Suspension and steering, suspension vertical and steering horizontal movements. So, suspension system is there which control the vertical movements, and steering system control the horizontal movements. So, nearly all ball joints have some form of adjustment. Most steering rack ends have adjustable ball joints and some incorporate shock dampers. Shock dampers are also provided in case of steering rack ends. So, this is a boot, this is the inner track rod, this is a ball joint, this is the shock damper assembly. So, this is the case of ball joint, this is known as a ball joint. Now, linkage type steering system. So, this is a linkage type steering system has many component parts. This is the idler arm, this is the steering damper, this is the drop arm connected to the steering gear or steering box. This is known as drop arm. Then this is known as a track rod assembly, which is one on this side and one on this side of the vehicle. This is known as center link, which is all the parts are linked to this, and this is known as, this is another track rod assembly. This is a track rod assembly, this is track rod assembly. Please see all the component in this linkage type steering system. It has many component parts and is normally found on older vehicles. So, no modern vehicle uses so many components in these steering systems. So, steering gearbox principle. Most linkages type steering system require some form of mechanical advantage. This is mainly provided mainly by gear ratio in the steering gearbox. The main type of steering gearbox are worm, three main types: worm gear, recirculating ball, worm and roller, in which are used in older vehicles. Then most commonly used are worm gear and recirculating ball type system. Drop arm couples to links. Worm wheels on, these are the two worm wheels on the steering shaft. This is the recirculating ball type. Recirculating ball mechanism, small number of teeth are needed in this type of system. So, I will show you some other slides. This is the this tire rod. I will show you these slides of these. The geometry of these is shown: gearbox, pitman arm, drag link. This is the steering wheel. These are the various linkages provided to the this wheels. This is the kingpin axis, caster angle, kingpin inclination angle, kingpin offset at the ground, center of the tire contact. This is the center line of the tire. Vehicle inclination angles. These are the various inclination angles which are lateral inclination, which gives the provide the lateral inclination to the wheel. Torques from the lateral inclination, which are used in the design of the system. So, these torques are provided with the on the lateral inclination. This is the caster angle. See the caster angle, I have already discussed about this caster angle. So, MV is equal to FZL minus FZR into d sin V minus cos delta. So, this is a torque for torques for the for caster angle. So, this is the steering torque, this is the steering angle. So, at different steering angles, how much torque is required for different caster angles? 1 degree offset we have taken, 5 degree caster angle we have taken. So, this is the lateral force, this is the wheel steer at the low speed, this is the instantaneous center. So, 4 wheels, this is the 4 wheel geometry. In 4 wheel in phase steering only at high speeds, typically above 35 miles per hour. Rear steer angles are less than the front. This is called a 4 wheel drive. Rear steer angle limited to a few degrees. So, these are the steering ratio. Steering ratio is equal to steering wheel angle upon road wheel angle. Steering ratio for cars is generally taken as 15 to 20, whereas steering ratio for trucks it is taken as 20 to 40. This is the geometry ratio. The recirculating balls system used on many trucks and SUVs. Linkages that turns the wheels. These are the various parts shown on this slide. The steering arms, tie rods, pitman arm, recirculating used on many trucks and SUVs. Linkage that turns the wheels. This is the worm gear system. This is the, I just show you the number of slides I want to show you. Worm gear threads are filled with ball bearings. Ball bearings recirculate the gear as it turns without the balls in the steering gear. The teeth would come out in contact with each other for a movement, making the steering wheel feel loose. This is a rack and pinion arrangement. This is the various linkages we have already discussed. Rack and pinion eliminates center link, idler arms, and the gearbox. So there is no need of gearbox in this. That is the rack and pinion. This is the actual diagram of the system. This is pinion gear. This is a movement of is transmitted to rack. So this racks moves the linkages on the wheels. So power rack. This is case of power steering. There are two fluid ports on one side of the piston. This is the two fluid ports supplying higher pressure fluid on one side of the piston forces the piston to move, which is the case of power steering systems. Conventional versus rack and pinion system diagram. Steer by wire. This is the most of modern automobile. It is used in steering by wire. Sensors pick up the driver's steering inputs and send this information to two microcomputers, which in turn control an electrically driven steering gear. So electrical, this is the totally electrical. This is used in Volvo and other vehicles. This completely eliminates the mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the steering. These are the idler arms. By replacing worn idler arms, you can reduce the vehicle wandering, excessive play in the steering wheels, and abnormal tire wear. So idler arms will have to be replaced. Idler arm hold the steering linkage in place. This is known as idler arm. This is the manual steering linkage, parallelogram steering linkage, rack and pinion, manual steering gear, steering wheel and column, steering dampener. So this is known as power steering system. So we have some pump to increase the pressure of the fluid. This is known as power steering pump, fluid reservoir. The fluid is supplied to this place, and this fluid helps in assisting the turning of the vehicle. This is electrically controlled power steering systems. Electrical, electronic rack and pinion system. Pinion shaft, control valve, hydraulic lines from pump, gear housing, hydraulic piston, boot, tie rod, frame member. So these are the various parts of the system. Ball joints. Ball joints are pivot on which front wheel turn. By replacing worn ball joints with ball joints, you can reduce the front end noise, looseness, and tire wear. These are these problems can be encountered during the use of these systems. So these ball joints has to be replaced. So you can reduce the front end noise, looseness, and tire wear. This is the power steering pumps. Loud squealing caused by a worn or loose power steering belt. So this is the various pumps which are used in typically gear drive. The rotary pump. This is a rotary pump. Leaf valve, fluid reservoir. The vane type system is there to increase the pressure of the fluid. So power steering box. This is a steering column. So steering knuckle, tie rod to wheel. So I thank you very much for listening me with so much patience. So if any questions are there, I am there to answer these questions. Thank you very much.